Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more Los Angeles Lakers news, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. The Lakers are on the verge of collapse and elimination in the playoffs. Having high-level players like Luka Doncic and LeBron James on the team will be frustrating if elimination does occur. Dalton Netsch has emerged as the solution for three-point shooting, but unfortunately he has fallen off the pace and coach J.J. Redick does not trust him and Netsch is out of the rotation. Many changes will be made for next season and one of them is certain that Dalton Netsch will be traded. If the Lakers can't force a Game 6 then this player might be done in LA. The Los Angeles Lakers are now staring elimination in the face after blowing a double-digit lead and dropping Game 4 of their best-of-7 series against the Minnesota Timberwolves, 116-113, on Sunday afternoon. After starting the game with their typical playoff rotation, Lakers head coach J.J. Redick made the decision at halftime to adjust the lineup they'd use coming out of the locker room. Jackson Hayes was replaced by Dorian Finney-Smith, and then wound up not making another substitution the rest of the way. While this was by no means a pre-planned strategy by Redick and Los Angeles's coaching staff, it was a call that they agreed to make during the halftime break and they lived with the consequences. With Redick showing that he is willing to make such dire decisions in order to put the purple and gold in a position to win these do-or-die postseason games, the members of the roster who did not see the floor over the course of the final 24 minutes of Game 4 cannot be feeling comfortable in their own skin when it comes to their place on the team moving forward. Lakers rookie Dalton Knecht entering possible final game in Los Angeles. The proof is in the pudding with this one. Rob Pelinka and the front office already agreed to trade the team's 2024 first-round pick once this season and, as we all know, that deal was ultimately voided due to injury concerns with Charlotte Hornets center Mark Williams. Outside of spot minutes at the end of Los Angeles's lopsided Game 1 loss and then a brief stint in their loss in Game 3, Knecht has not seen the floor in this series. His playing time became more sporadic as the regular season went on and, as a result, his role diminished. With Redick showing little to no interest in using the rookie in this series against the Timberwolves, it is fair to wonder just what kind of fit the 24-year-old will have with the franchise moving forward as pursuing championships is all that matters to the Lakers. If Knecht cannot find a way to make himself a valuable enough asset to be playable, which seems like an uphill climb to make at this stage of the season, his time in Los Angeles could be much shorter than he had anticipated when the franchise selected him with the number 17 overall pick in the 2024 NBA draft. The Lakers aren't the type of franchise that is willing to play the long game when it comes to building a championship-caliber roster, and that isn't going to change anytime soon. Don't be surprised to hear Knecht's name included in trade rumors this offseason as, if they aren't going to play him, the Lakers would be wise to get whatever value they can in return for the swingman via trade. All of the Lakers' playoff struggles point to one name. The Los Angeles Lakers are on the brink of elimination after back-to-back losses in Minnesota. Despite entering the fourth quarter with a double-digit lead, the Lakers collapsed towards the end in Game 4 to fall 3-1 behind against Anthony Edwards and company. This was emblematic of the problem the Lakers have had all postseason. As the Athletic's Jovan Buha noted on X, the Lakers have been outscored 105-69 in fourth quarters in this series. The main reason for these struggles is the Lakers' roster construction. GM Rob Pelinka is the name to blame for this. Rob Pelinka's obvious mistakes are costing the Lakers the series. On Sunday, head coach J.J. Redick played the same 5 players the entire second half. Luka Doncic, LeBron James, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, and Dorian Finney-Smith played all 24 minutes, and a few of them were visibly gassed towards the end. Doncic, coming off a stomach bug only 36 hours before Game 4, was particularly exhausted, limiting his effectiveness against the solid Minnesota defense. Redick didn't have any players he could trust, even for a few minutes. This is especially a problem in the frontcourt. Finney-Smith, Hachimura, and James are the only reliable frontcourt players. Jackson Hayes, despite being the only viable center on the roster, has been completely marginalized. This brings about questions about the lack of frontcourt additions after the Luka Doncic trade. The Lakers tried to trade for Mark Williams, and when that deal was rescinded, the Lakers were left without alternatives and opted to sign Alex Len. That signing aged like milk, as Len has not been a part of the rotation whatsoever. Pelinka could have gone ahead with the Williams deal or initially traded for a different center with no injury concerns. Not having a follow-up trade ready to go to add another center after getting rid of Anthony Davis has come back to bite the Lakers. The Lakers simply have too many players on their roster who they are not getting anything out of. Dalton Knecht, Alex Len, Bronny James, Shake Milton, Markieff Morris, and Maxi Kleber are non-contributors, and it's very hard to go on a deep postseason run in the NBA when you are wasting 6 of your 15 roster spots. While Pelinka should be celebrated for the Luka Doncic trade, his failure to surround LeBron, and Reeves with a good enough roster to compete has been a major disappointment. Luka Doncic, fatigue shouldn't play factor for Lakers in playoffs. Los Angeles Lakers head coach J.J. Redick made the decision to play just 5 players in the entire second half of Game 4 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Luka Doncic, LeBron James, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, and Dorian Finney-Smith were the only Lakers to see the court in the final 24 minutes as Redick did everything possible to try and leave Minnesota with a victory. The Lakers held the lead for most of the night, but in the end just weren't able to close it out and dropped a heartbreaking 3-point game to now find themselves down 3-1 in the series. With the Lakers' struggles down the stretch, there were some who questioned whether fatigue played a factor, but Doncic wasn't having any of that talk. When asked if the fourth quarter struggles were due to the fatigue of playing the whole second half, Doncic shut that down, via Spectrum Sportsnet. "This is the playoffs. Fatigue shouldn't play any role in this. Played a lot of minutes, but it shouldn't play a role. I think they just executed better on the defensive end during the last minutes. When it's the postseason, all excuses go out the window, it is simply a matter of win or go home." Luka and the rest of the Lakers are willing to do whatever is necessary to come out on top, and the Lakers superstar is certainly no stranger to playing big minutes in the playoffs, as he averaged 41 minutes a night during his run to the NBA Finals last year with the Dallas Mavericks. Some would argue that the Timberwolves' superior execution was a matter of them being fresher, but Doncic simply isn't willing to use that excuse. The important thing now is for the Lakers to turn the page and be ready to go for Game 5. Me 3. It took Lakers 4 games to regret trade deadline decision. The Los Angeles Lakers are on the verge of elimination, and while their series with the Minnesota Timberwolves isn't over, it sure feels like it. The Timberwolves took a 3-1 lead over the Lakers with a 116-113 win in Minneapolis on Sunday afternoon, and Lakers fans already have one eye toward Game 5 and the other looking at what went wrong. A move that will be second-guessed is the Lakers' decision to make the blockbuster trade for Luka Doncic. The Lakers gave up Anthony Davis and several ancillary pieces that made fans double-check their phones late on February 1st and seemed like a fleecing as the Dallas Mavericks gave Los Angeles its next superstar when LeBron James hangs up his sneakers. But while the move looks great, it already has come with consequences, and the Lakers are finding out as the Timberwolves have taken control of the series. Luka Doncic's defense has played pivotal role in series against Timberwolves. Going by his statistics, Doncic has been a menace in the playoffs. He's averaging 30.8 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists in the first 4 games of the series against the Timberwolves, and it doesn't seem like Minnesota has an answer to keep him from posting monster stat lines. But while he's putting up great fantasy numbers, his defense has been a problem, which was highlighted by respected NBA insider Zach Lowe on Monday. "You have to get humiliated at the beginning of every single playoff series before you show the world, like, yeah, I can actually put in a little bit more effort on defense," Lowe said on the Zach Lowe Show on Monday. Because if you go back and you watch Game 1 and 2 of the 2022 Western Conference semifinals series between the Dallas Mavericks and Phoenix Suns, he is so bad defensively that it's laughable. And then all of a sudden, he becomes passable, and yet again, here we are. We're 4 games into this series, and he's just helpless. The stats back Lowe's assessment up. Anthony Edwards is averaging 29.8 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 5.8 assists in the series. Jaden McDaniels is averaging 19.8 points and 7.3 rebounds after averaging 12.2 points and 5.7 rebounds in the regular season. Naz Reid has also been a matchup problem with 13.8 points per game off the bench, and Doncic has been put in a blender throughout all of it. But while Doncic has carried the load offensively, there's also a glaring hole in the middle of the lineup. The Lakers have gotten into the head of Rudy Gobert, who has 3.5 points and just 6.3 rebounds per game in the series. But Julius Randle is averaging 22.5 points and 5.3 rebounds over the first 4 games. Randle's production highlights a glaring issue in the frontcourt that hasn't been filled with Jackson Hayes, and highlights the departure of Davis, who was shipped out to bring in Doncic. Davis has been injured for most of the time since he was moved to Dallas, and there were whispers that he was disgruntled with the idea of playing the center position when he feels he's more of a power forward. But Davis said in an interview earlier this month that he never wanted to leave Los Angeles, and his presence would have slowed the Timberwolves' frontcourt down and provided an extra layer of security, whereas Doncic has been a turnstile on the perimeter. Lowe touched on this point, admitting that he or any NBA executive wouldn't have done the Doncic for Davis swap if they were in the Mavericks' position. But he also said that there were some officials that agreed with the idea of trading Doncic before he signed a supermax extension because of his defensive deficiencies. You can find corners of smart NBA people, team people, who would tell you the idea of getting out ahead of this and trading Luka is not a crazy idea, Lowe said. The idea of doing it without shopping him to get 9 first-round picks and swaps and doing this specific trade is where the logic falls apart. I still think it's a crazy trade, but I'm just tired of, I'm going to be embarrassed until our backs are against the wall, and then I'm going to show you that, yeah, I can put up a little bit of a fight. How about you put up G fight in game 1, now you're down 3-1 and you're probably going home. The long-term decision to add Doncic remains a good one, and perhaps a full offseason can get something out of the 26-year-old defensively. But that doesn't help the position the Lakers are in now, making what could be a great long-term trade a short-term mistake. J.J. Redick addresses controversial decision after Lakers' Game 4 loss. After entering the fourth quarter with a 10-point lead, the Los Angeles Lakers ran out of gas against the Minnesota Timberwolves in yet another late-game collapse to fall to 3-1 in the series. Now facing elimination at home in Game 5, the Lakers have a mountain to climb against a younger, deeper, and more dynamic team. One of the most controversial decisions of the series came when head coach J.J. Redick only played 5 players in the second half of Game 4. In the first 24 minutes of the game, the Lakers used their usual 9-man rotation, with Dorian Finney-Smith, Gabe Vincent, Jared Vanderbilt, and Jordan Goodwin coming off the bench. In the second half, Redick finally benched Jackson Hayes and inserted Finney-Smith into the lineup and didn't sub any of LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, or Finney-Smith the rest of the way. Considering how tired some Lakers, especially Doncic, looked down the stretch, this decision was scrutinized by fans and the media. In his post-game presser, Redick responded to these criticisms. J.J. Redick reveals how he decided to play only 5 players in the second half. The first-time head coach said that this move wasn't planned, and his coaching staff made the call at halftime. Vincent, Goodwin, and Vanderbilt hadn't made a shot during their stints in the first half, and Hayes has been struggling all series. The best lineup for the Lakers have been playing 5 out with Finney-Smith, James, and Hachimura in the front court. While this approach worked initially in the third quarter as the Lakers spread out the Timberwolves with their 3-point shooting and won the quarter by 13 points, their lack of depth and defensive versatility proved to be too costly as the minute totals piled up. After his controversial decision backfired, Redick now faces the biggest challenge of his young coaching career. Is he going to double down on a tight, centerless rotation? Or is he going to reverse course? Regardless of what he decides to do, the Lakers will have to mount an improbable comeback against a very good Minnesota team.